Friendship breakups cut different when you're neurodivergent. I don't know. We mask to keep the peace or we unmask to be seen. And either way, it can feel like we lose. But rejection doesn't mean you're unworthy. Sometimes rejection is just redirection.
Breaking habits on life on. Maybe it's just bad for me. Truth is, it's bothering me.
Welcome to Boldly Becoming, your new digital safe space where we explore what it means to grow, to heal, and to unfold into who we've always been. If you're here, you probably know what it feels like to move through friendships a little differently. Maybe you've been called needy, for explaining yourself, cold for pulling back, or combative for defending yourself. Maybe you've loved with your whole heart and lost. And if you're neurodivergent, those moments of rejection can feel like a literal heartbreak. So today I want to hold up a mirror for you and remind you that you're not too much. You're not broken. And you can bounce back after betrayal without closing your heart. Oh, I look cute today. Anyway, neurodivergent people experience rejection differently. And it's mainly because we're used to masking to stay safe. We over-explain to keep the peace, or sometimes we under-explain to protect energy. And both get misread. Like it's almost like a lose-lose situation. So it's like, should I just be quiet? We love intensely. So when friendship ends, it literally can feel and have like some of the same emotions of like a romantic breakup.
When you get rejected, your brain lights up the same way that it would if you stubbed your toe at 2 a.m. Processes social pain the same way that it would physical pain. Isn't that wild? And that's because rejection activates the anterior cingulate, the same place that processes physical pain. Your brain thinks it's been injured even if no one's laid a hand on you.
And trust me, guys, I've had my fair share of friendship breakups and my share of beautiful friend wins too. Okay, you win some, you lose some. Okay, but after my diagnosis, I went down like the most intense, insane rabbit hole. Lots of like those aha moments you get. But it definitely explained a lot of the friction, just like going back down memory lane. Like, wait a minute, and wait,
Did anyone else have that experience after being like late diagnosed neurospicy where you suddenly realize why lots of people throughout your life just didn't like you and like you couldn't explain it? They just did not like you, did not get you. You didn't do anything wrong. It's not like you fucked their husband or started a rumor or stole from them or did anything. Like technically on paper did everything right, was a good friend, and they still just like didn't like you. Nothing you could do would make them like you, and then you're like, oh yeah, it's one of those neurotypical versus neurospicy things. And then now my lovely little friend group is all a bunch of ADHD bitches, and we love each other, and it's fucking easy, and it's fun, and it's amazing, and you're like, this is how it's meant to be. All those other people just didn't like me because my brain's different, and they can pick up on that even before I knew what that was.
I know growing up that I was masking without even realizing what I was doing, and I think that is so scary. But looking back, y'all, I see that I was either playing peacekeeper or I was masking to avoid conflict. In both cases, I would say that I usually ended up hurt or hurting someone else. While masking is something that you can't really help, it does affect everyone.
One of the most overlooked signs of high masking is tolerating friendships that make you feel like crap. You know, the friendships where people don't care about what you think or say, they never check in on you, they only message you when they need something, but you keep being friends with them. And that's because somewhere in your brain, you've convinced yourself that if you speak up, you're difficult. If you leave, you're overreacting. If you're not the nice friend all the time, you're the problem. That is not just people pleasing, that is also masking on a high level. You're spending so much time performing what you think a good friend should be. Agreeable, understandable, and always available. With ADHD doesn't always mean hiding your quirks to fit in. It's also silently accepting disrespect, because standing up for yourself feels like a social risk.
One thing people don't really talk about, especially, I'm just going to speak to my job as an influencer, right? Is what it means to be publicly perceived before you are personally known. Like people have an idea of me before they've even met me. They see the lipstick, the Instagram, the curated version of you, and they turn you into an avatar of sorts. You're this like character in their head of who they think you are. So when you finally show up unmasked, or you're just like, hey, this is me, what's up? Yourself fully. Sometimes those connections don't graduate to actual friendships. Because them people be scared, child. They be like, whoa, wait a minute, you're not the aesthetic girly. No, I'm a psycho in a good way. It just don't graduate to friendships because the real you doesn't match the version that they imagine.
So I had somebody the other day ask me under one of my videos, how do you deal with people's perception of you? You don't. It quite literally is not your responsibility to redefine what somebody thinks about you or how somebody has characterized you into a box. Humans do this weird thing where in a way they're able to like stereotype you based off of one experience. And I always tell people that I never allow somebody's perception on me or just overall opinion on me to skew how I view myself personally, just because how are you going to tell me about myself when I'm an expert? We have a master's, a doctorate, and an undergraduate degree in mark psychology. So a lot of times you'll run into these people that have had one experience with you or just overall like a distasteful experience or a good experience, and they will generalize this opinion onto you and almost put you in a box. So they have a very hard time thinking that you are multifaceted or you can expand outside of the stereotype that they have placed upon you. A lot of people also have an ego. So the fact that when they realize that they were wrong and maybe that they misjudged you or they just perceived you the wrong way, they never really want to admit it or clear your name up in public the same way that they bashed it in public because they don't want to seem like they didn't know what they were talking about. Which is so ironic because literally, how the hell are you going to know what you're talking about when it comes to me? Like, you just don't. You just won't. You only know what I tell you, and I keep it that way. So with that being said, when somebody has a perception on you or you're just trying to deal with your overall perception with people, stop focusing on what people think about you and just focus on doing right by yourself, proving yourself right, and operating in a way that makes yourself proud at the end of the day.
For a long time, I used to interpret that as rejection. Like, I'm not going to even lie to you. But what I realized is it's not rejection. It just means that you aren't compatible. And I think us women have such hard times with rejection in general, from men, from women. It causes people to spiral. But once you learn to accept rejection and just see it as a compatibility thing, you'll learn to reframe rejection as clarity and not a loss. And you won't take it personal because it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. You guys just don't gel.
Oil and water.
No one can reject you. They can only reject the version of you they made up in their mind. Let that sink in. They're not rejecting your soul, your truth, your essence. They're rejecting their perception, and that's their illusion. You could be the most grounded, loving, real version of yourself, and someone will still not get it because their lens is clouded by their conditioning, their fears, their expectations. Here's the thing, if they can't truly see you, then they can't truly choose you either, which means they were never choosing you in the first place. So why are you performing for an audience that doesn't even know what they're watching? The only one who can truly know you is you. And when you choose yourself, when you love the real, authentic, unfiltered you, the rest of life shifts. You stop chasing validation. You stop fearing rejection. You stop begging for clarity from people still stuck in their conditioning. When you choose yourself, the people meant for you finally recognize you. The ones who get it will never need you to prove it. So stop editing who you are and start embodying who you've always been.
I personally feel like there is like a girl code where women hate to talk about friendship betrayal. And it's almost like we are protecting the abusers amongst us. It's almost done under the guise of loyalty, but it's who are you actually being loyal to? And it doesn't mean you go online and you do smear campaigns about people, but it could be you having a conversation with another friend in confidence, someone that you trust, someone that you know has your best interests at heart, and what you share won't travel outside of that conversation. But sometimes you have to talk about what happened to you because you'll tend to ruminate over things and you never end up getting past it. And your nervous system is constantly in this fight mode. You have to let things go.
I think one of the most harrowing things about betrayal, in whatever form that it comes, is the realization that at some point you felt safe somewhere that you now know you completely should not have. I think that whole thing is very scary. The idea that at some point a reality was constructed for you that simply did not exist, and that certain people, whether it be friends, partners, whatever the case may be, certain people knew what the truth was and knew exactly what was going on. And you, whether it's that you feel that you missed signs or they were just so well concealed until they completely couldn't be denied anymore, you were just going idly by, feeling safe, feeling able to be vulnerable. Because the way that we carry ourselves when we feel safe is completely different to how we function when we know we're in danger or when we know we should be cautious. And so on the other side of betrayal is oftentimes a lot of grief and a lot of confusion. There's this whole process of having to reconcile how you felt in moments and what you thought was going on in moments, especially if you felt happy and joyful in those moments, with the reality of what was actually going on behind your back. And there's also the frustration of if you did ever have a gut feeling, but you decided on a factual basis, that no, I am safe here, this person would never do this to me, I would never be let down in this way. There is realizing that, oh my goodness, I was right. And if I had trusted myself when I heard that little niggling suspicion, I might not be in this situation that I'm in now. And I know this because I've been there. I also think it's so easy in the aftermath of betrayal to swing between seeing yourself as the problem, seeing yourself as potentially even deserving of it, which, spoiler alert, you are not, or stupid enough to fall for it. And the other end of things is seeing everybody as horrible and horrifying and deciding there and then that I am never going to trust anybody again, I'm never subjecting myself to this again, and closing yourself off to human connection. Again, I have the entire t-shirt collection for that. This video is getting kind of long, so I'm going to create a part 2 to this video in terms of navigating that betrayal, because this is obviously focused a lot on what betrayal kind of does and how it feels and the weirdness around it.
If you don't have a friend to talk to, or a mother or aunt, or even your nana, journal. I love voice notes. Sometimes I full cuss people out when I'm describing some of the feelings and the big feelings that I don't want to share with another person, or if I'm really just trying to keep certain things close because I don't want to hijack a group dynamic or make other people feel a certain type of way about someone else, you know, that was once really close to me or in my life. I literally will use that voice notes and say some of the things. Oh my God. Okay. Oh my gosh, golly. But getting those things out in the way that you want to, in the way that you really feel, without having to mask and have guardrails around your feelings, you get to fully feel it, which I am 1,000% a girl that believes in feeling fully and letting it go. But that's what works for me. So let's talk about how you can protect yourself and heal after betrayal. And this is what I like to call the R.E.P.A.I.R framework. And first, you just want to recognize what happened without sugarcoating, because we love to overthink and sometimes skip out on the true details. They meant that shit. They did that shit. Okay. And then you just want to exhale, regulate your nervous system. You're going to hear me talk about nervous system so much because we have to prioritize that thing, okay? You want to process your story, whether that's journaling. For me, I like voice notes. I like to talk shit. I like to get it out, okay? And then you just want to realign with your values and set your boundaries. Now, if it's worth it, initiate repair or release, the person's situation. Either or is you respecting yourself. And then once you do that, you want to re-enter community slowly and with discernment, and try your best not to let that bleed into new or existing relationships.
Toxic friends and friendship breakups have caused me more trauma than any romantic relationship ever has. And it also leaves you in a place where you struggle to make new friends and you struggle to trust people, because you're constantly on edge wondering whether this person is going to turn out like your last friendship, if they're going to turn out betraying you and hurting you the same way. So if you're asking yourself, how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to heal from this? How am I going to trust to make friends again? I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. The trust, it'll come, because it's less about trusting other people and it's more about trusting yourself. What I realized when it came to friends in my past is that I made a lot of excuses for them. I constantly gave them the benefit of the doubt when the red flags were in plain sight. I chose to look at their potential rather than the reality of them. And that was a big reason why I got myself in a whole lot of pain. Because what these friends did to other people that I saw and chose to tell myself that they would never do that to me, they ended up doing exactly that to me. And no, the solution is not removing every single person that you see has a small little red flag. Everyone on this planet has red flags. All of us have been traumatized somehow in our life. None of us are walking green flags. And honestly, If there is one, please tag him in this video because I want to learn. The thing to focus on is where did you make excuses for this friend? What were the circumstances that you gave them the benefit of the doubt? Because most likely those were your non-negotiables. And we chose to ignore those boundaries because we chose to put someone else before them. And what you come to realize is you're less angry really at them, and you're more disappointed and angry with yourself because you chose to betray yourself and the rules that you have created for yourself. So therefore, when it comes to making new friends, you need to write down what your non-negotiables are. Picture the perfect friend. What are their top 5 qualities, top 5 characteristic traits that you want in a friend? Loyalty, honesty, communication, solution-oriented, whatever it is. The opposite of those are probably going to be your non-negotiables. So for example, if you're looking for a loyal friend, but their actions constantly show disloyalty, like for example, they have a boyfriend and they choose to cheat on them all the time. Just because it's not happening directly to you and it's happening to someone else, doesn't mean it's not going to happen to you in the future. Someone who is not being loyal to someone else just shows that they are a disloyal person. And I think we put too much emphasis on circumstances. Oh, every situation is different. Yes, okay, but the bottom line is every situation will show someone's deep down quality and characteristics. You can't expect to pick a friend that you want to be honest, but yet you watch your friend constantly lie to her parents and make up excuses all the time. That just shows that they're a dishonest person. And sooner or later, when the circumstances and the situation call for it, they will end up lying to you if they haven't been already this whole time. Find the top characteristics that you want in a friend. The opposite of that will be your non-negotiables. And the way that they behave in their life towards themselves or towards other people will show you exactly whether they meet those non-negotiables or not. And if they don't, then most likely they're probably going to end up doing the same thing to you and hurting you in the end. Or you can choose to walk away from this relationship. Don't be afraid. Learn from your mistakes. Do better next time.
And also, there are going to be red flags to watch out for. Now, that's like triangulation, performative support, because people love to fake it and people being dismissive of you. That is a red flag. And some green flags are people that celebrate you. They have accountability, direct check-ins with you. They reciprocate your love. They have joy and they're genuinely happy for your wins. Now, girlies, I want to hear from you because I know y'all got the tea. I know y'all got the stories, okay? Have you ever gone through a friendship breakup and felt like, oh my God, this is a heartbreak? Because I have. And I want to know how you bounce back. Some of my friendship breakups have taken me years to get over, okay? And some people I still think about. But I want you guys to drop your story in the comments if you're comfortable. And if not, you can send it to me anonymously right here. And I'm going to share a few in future episodes because I want us to learn from each other and heal together. You being the fairy that you are doesn't mean that you're unworthy of friendship. It doesn't mean you're too much. It means that your heart is wired for depth and not everyone is equipped to hold that. And when I tell you, once you truly accept that, you lose so much weight. I feel so light since I've truly understood that. And I just want you to take this as a reminder that like rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It's a redirection towards people that'll love you, people that'll celebrate you and your authenticity, people that get excited when they see you, people that love how you jump from topic to topic and you try to be as radiant as possible and you own your light and you own your glow and they smile at you while you do it. Protect your peace. I want you to nurture your light and never forget that you are boldly becoming and softly unfolding into everything that you already are, honey. I love you, and I'll see you in the next episode of Boldly Becoming.